This afternoon, Air Force One arrived at Ellington Field in Houston to prepare to take President George H.W. Bush's body to Washington, D.C., where he will lie in state Monday. Tonight, the former president is being remembered by friends and family as a great American statesman, a loving father and grandfather, and a pillar of his adopted Texas hometown. Courtney Zabowski reports from Houston.
Faithfully execute.
On Sunday, former President George H.W. Bush's White House colleagues reflected on his death.
The very last words he spoke were spoken to George W. Bush, President Bush 43, who had told him how much he loved him and that he would see him on the other side. And 41 said, "I love you too."
The nation's 41st president died Friday night at his home in Houston. Mr. Bush's son, Neil, was among those who were there.
It was nice to see him pass away on his own terms, in his room, surrounded by family, and it was kind of a wonderful experience, truth be told.
James Baker was Secretary of State and Chief of Staff during the first Bush presidency. On Face the Nation, he recalled how he said goodbye to his longtime friend.
He looked up at me, opened both eyes, looked at me and said, "Jim, where are we going?" And I said, "Well, Jefe," because that's what I called him, Jefe, which is Spanish for chief. I said, "Well, Jefe, we're going to heaven."
President Bush dedicated his life to public service, but through it all remained a consummate family man to his wife, his children, and his grandchildren.
First of all, take away the fact just of how people know him as a former president. He was the world's kindest man. Full stop.
After leaving the White House, Mr. Bush retired to Texas, where he was a revered figure, including at his favorite pizzeria.
The customers love him. The second when he walked in the door, people would stand up and clap. And it didn't matter who they were.
Former President Bush will be buried Thursday on the grounds of his library in College Station. Courtney Zabowski, CBS News, Houston.